Thanks for joining us and welcome to the newest show in town entitled Easton 300, a chance for folks out there to learn as we plan and prepare for a giant tricentennial celebration scheduled for the year 2025. I'm Dave Clifton.
And I'm Michelle McGee.
And we're happy to be with you today. We hope that this show will be on a monthly basis beginning in September. This cablecast is a production of ECAT, Easton Community Access Television, and we thank them so much for giving us the opportunity to communicate with the community as we talk about the tricentennial celebration. And I know that when you think about it, Michelle, 1725 to 2025, that's a lot of years, 300 to be exact. We got a lot to talk about and certainly to celebrate the history of the town of Easton. Let's talk first of all about the mission. I know that we certainly want to engage as many people as we possibly can in the Easton community. And we are fortunate enough to have a charged up committee appointed by the Easton Select Board. Maybe you could mention some of the folks that join us. They certainly give above and beyond the call to duty as volunteers.
They do, Dave. We have a great committee of 10 people. There's actually a vacancy on our committee right now, so we are looking for someone to join us. If you are interested in that, you can go to the Town of Easton's website, and it is called Volunteer Form on that website, and you can fill that out and apply to be on the committee. Our committee has been appointed by the Select Board, and our mission set forth by the Select Board is to celebrate Easton's 300th birthday with a year-long celebration in 2025. So we have been tasked to celebrate the strong town spirit that Easton has and it thrives in our community, to offer diverse programming that is welcoming and inclusive to everyone in Easton. Also to strengthen the bonds of family and community with events that bring all people to them. We've also been asked to involve the youth and get cooperation from the schools and do varied fun and educational activities to recognize the positive and lasting impact of the contributions that have been made and will be made by the Easton community, to connect the present and the past by coordinating, sharing, and supporting historical events, to provide a stage and a spotlight on Easton art, music, culture, both current and past, and to collaborate with and support and encourage all Easton nonprofits, commissions, committees, town departments in taking advantage of the opportunity that the tricentennial offers to educate the public and tell their and our story of our history, our goals, and our mission. So that was put forth to us as a mission statement from the town of Easton, and 10 of us are on that committee. Dave is
And I just wanted to mention that we also want to engage with our senior adults in the community, either through the Council on Aging, not just young people, but seniors who certainly are part of the history of the town of Easton. We're excited about this. Our committee's excited, and we're looking forward to sharing updates on a monthly basis so that you're familiar with what the plans are. To have a giant year-round celebration takes a lot of hard work. It takes lots of volunteers, and it takes fundraising efforts that we're looking forward to. Let's talk about some of the committee members that have joined us in putting our plan together that we think will be terrific.
Let's start with you, Dave. We are co-chairs, so we'll start with Dave.
Well,
Tell us about you.
I certainly am excited about participating. I have a long time history living in Sharon, Massachusetts, and I had the honor of chairing the 250th anniversary celebration.
What year was that,
in that
Dave?
community. That was 2017.
Okay.
And it was a celebration that involved the entire community.
What was your favorite part of that celebration?
I enjoyed the gala ball. I also enjoyed the parades and the fireworks, the bonfires, all the different activities that we had. And one of the things that Michelle and I would like to make sure that our viewing audience is aware of, that we don't want to touch any of the ongoing annual events that have taken place in Easton for years. Those we hope will be part of our schedule. We certainly will have what we consider to be signature events that we'll talk about sometime during the show. But getting back to my background and my experience, I had hoped that because I now live in Easton, that I can participate and provide whatever guidance I can. One terrific committee, and it's not just 10 people that can do this celebration. I think we're counting on hundreds and hundreds of volunteers. Just to run a parade, it takes 35 or 40 people. So tell us about yourself.
So my name is Michelle McGee, and I've been a resident of Easton for about 15 or so years. And I am co-chairing the committee with Dave. I have children that grew up here and live here, and I'm a Lion, so it's been a nice experience, and this committee has really added to it. We have a member of our select board on our committee. He is a representative of the select board for us, and that is Mark Lamb. Mark Lamb grew up in Easton, graduated from OA, and is now a member of the select board. We also have a treasurer. Do you want to talk about our treasurer?
Yes, Jeanette Camara. She happens to be the treasurer of Bank of Easton, and she has a lot of experience working with Borderland State Park. She's on the Friends of Borderland, and she is terrific with figures, and that's someone that we really need on our committee. So
she also grew up here, so she's very interested in all the activities.
And tell us about our marketing and communication.
Yes, we have a fundraising sponsorship chair, and that's Courtney Pupkin. You may have heard of her. She's actually on my laptop here, Pupkin approved. Courtney is currently putting together a sponsorship level sheet for us. We have a meeting tonight, right, Dave? And she'll be presenting that tonight. But she is also looking for some help. So we're all looking for help. So if any of these things that Dave and I discuss are of any interest to you, you can reach out to us and let us know how you'd like to participate.
We're excited about having Mike Good on our committee. Mike is heading up marketing and communications. He's working on the logo contest, which we'll talk about. But I know that Mike has lots of energy, and we certainly want to do what we can to promote. And now would be a great time to thank ECAT, Easton Community Access Television. We have some other committee members we want to talk about, but we're going to hold that thought right now and take a short break. You're listening to Easton 300, and again, we're talking about a giant celebration that will be coming up during the year 2025. Hurry back. We're talking about the 10 appointed members of our celebration committee appointed by the select board here in Easton. And I did want to certainly make sure that we remember Ken Michael. Ken is I think he's the chair of the historic.
He's the president.
Yeah,
yes.
He's the president. And he certainly is familiar with the history of the town of Easton. And he started out as a volunteer that came to our committee that participated and then eventually became a member. So we're happy to have him on board. Some of our other committee members, Michelle.
Yes. Dale Carrister is on our committee. Dale is a longtime resident of Easton, and he is involved in the Swifts Park project. He's also an Easton Lion, and he is our community relations chair. So he's going to be reaching out to other nonprofits in the area. I know he's already spoken with NRT, and he has spoken with some other organizations in town. Because as Dave mentioned, we are hoping that the regular activities that happen during the course of a year in Easton will also happen in 2025, but maybe with a little tricentennial twist, right?
And of course, Dale is an attorney. We can always use an attorney on our committee. We'd also like to give a shout out to Nora Youssef. She also is a part of our committee. And we thank her grandfather, Lee Williams, for the wonderful donation that he made, the late Lee Williams, to our celebration committee to kick off our seed money for the 300th celebration. And I know that there are folks out there in the community that would like to volunteer. We're always looking for coordinators of different events. But let's talk about maybe some of our signature events, Michelle. I know we haven't finalized everything yet, but we have a pretty good idea of some of the proposed events that will take place during the year 2025. And maybe you folks out there in the community may have some suggestions or some ideas. But what are some of the things we're talking about, Michelle?
Well, one of the things we most recently voted on is we will be having a first day celebration. So at the very beginning of 2025, we'll be kicking off this year with a huge townwide celebration. One of the things that the committee has really committed to is that all of these signature events will be accessible to everyone in Easton. So whether you need transportation, we will have that for you. If you're older and you need a tent, shade from the sun, we will have that. Young people, children, everyone's invited, and it's an all-inclusive event and also free. So that's a really important part. So we're hoping to have a first day. We have voted to have a first day event, and we met two lovely ladies yesterday who have come forward from the community to offer to help us out with one of these signature events. I think they're thinking about that first day event.
And thank you, Amanda and Anne Marie. What a beautiful meeting we had yesterday, just to get some ideas from them. I know that they're interested, and we'll find out at our meeting tonight. I also wanted to mention that we also want to open up the door to anyone in the community that may have a disability. We want to make sure that they have access to some of our signature events. There's been a lot of discussion about a parade. We haven't confirmed a date yet, but everybody loves a parade. And we want to be very careful and cautious not to interfere with the parades that are already taking place in the Easton community. So we're looking for a time to do that. And of course, you've been talking with a coordinator who stepped up to the plate, and he's had some experience doing parades.
Yes, we have a great parade coordinator, Corey Ahonen, who is our Veteran Services Officer here in Easton. He runs the Memorial Day Parade and the Veterans Day Parade, amongst other veterans events that happen in Easton, and he has agreed to step forward and be our parade coordinator for the Tricentennial Parade. So we're pretty excited about that. The events that we have coordinators for, we're really excited about. Yeah. We have a few events that we don't have coordinators for, and I think that's one of the reasons why we're here today, Dave, right? Is we want to drum up some excitement in the community, and if there's something that you think that you can add, we definitely want you to join us. What are some of our other signature events?
I know that I love the idea that Corey had to have a block party at the end of the parade. That's being considered, and we certainly would like to see that, and I think folks in the community would as well. Before we talk about a bonfire or fireworks, which is on our agenda, we certainly want to take in consideration meeting with the police chief and the fire chief to establish safety concerns and to get their input in terms of where and when we should run those events. As a matter of fact, we're meeting with the fire chief before our meeting this evening. And we thank both public safety officials for giving us their cooperation in terms of planning and preparing for the celebration. There's a lot of ideas that have been expressed, and we certainly have to kind of narrow it down. Whenever you get crowds of people together, safety comes into the picture. Years ago, you just did a parade and you didn't worry about a lot of things that come up. So we want to make sure that any event that we have is safe and sound for the residents of the community. How do you feel? Are you hearing anything about a bonfire and fireworks?
Yes, so our committee did approve a bonfire, so that is on our schedule of events for October. Our committee also did approve to have fireworks. We have not decided when, but we're looking at our schedule this evening. We have a tricentennial committee meeting every month, and we're actually looking to go to twice a month because there is a lot of planning involved. And our next meeting is this evening, and we'll be meeting tonight, and it is open to the public. Anyone is invited. At our last meeting, we had 3 members of the public attend, which is great.
That's terrific. And I know there's a lot of excitement about another event. It's a family picnic that we are discussing, and hopefully we can lock in a date for that. It's always nice to bring families together with a little bit of music and lots of good food. Did you want to say anything about the picnic, Michelle?
Sure, yeah. That's one of the events that we're looking maybe to combine with another event. So maybe a town picnic that rolls into fireworks. So some of these events will be standalone and some of them will be combined.
I understand it's been a long time since we've had fireworks in the Easton community. And it's an opportunity for us to look up into the sky, and as they light up and you hear the bangs, you think about the history of the town of Easton. And there's lots of history here in the town. Just take a look at all the buildings that are available. It's truly amazing how lucky we are to have our families here in the town of Easton. We're going to have to take another short break. I'm Dave Clifton here along with Michelle McGee, co-host of a new show in town called Easton 300. And of course, we got 300 ideas of what we'd like to do. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the final segment of Easton 300. What does that mean, folks? Well, we have a committee in town appointed by the Easton Select Board to plan and prepare for a celebration in the year 2025. Can you imagine 300 years, the history of the town of Easton? They had a 250th celebration and a 275th.
They did.
And of course, here we are planning and preparing. And it takes a lot more than just 10 people. We're hoping to recruit lots of volunteers. There'll be lots of events. There'll be many events taking place that are not necessarily sponsored by the town committee appointed by the select board, but these will be ongoing events that we hope to make part of the schedule. And maybe they can beef up their events because it is the 300th anniversary. Let me give you an idea. At Borderland State Park on October 4th, 2025, their Friends of Borderland are planning to have an antique car show, and they're hoping to invite 300 vehicles to come to the park. And we're working with them in consideration of maybe waiving the fee for the folks on that particular day. But this is an annual event that they do on that particular day, and they want to make it part of the tricentennial celebration. They're going to call it the Tricentennial Antique Car Show, And of course, the coordinator is Dale Thistle. He's the guy that runs the shows over there at the state park, which is also part of the history. Half of that park is in Sharon, the other half is in Easton. So it should be quite an event. Let's talk about the logo, how important the logo is as we plan and prepare for this celebration.
So we don't have a logo yet. One of the things that the Tricentennial Committee has been very interested in is the clock downtown, which was donated by Lee Williams back at the 290th anniversary of the town. We are planning a logo contest, Dave. And our marketing communication chair, Mike Good, is putting together the details of that contest. But I think people should keep their eye open for that coming out. And they can do that by going to our website, which is launched today. So you'll see a lot of test posts on there, but you can certainly go. It is www.easton300.org.
Let's repeat that again, just in case someone is writing this down.
Sure, it's easton300.org. So if you go to that website right now, there's some tabs. If you do click the About tab, it will tell you all the parts of the mission statement that we went over earlier, and it does list the committee.
Michelle and I have not forgotten the importance of the arts. We do plan on trying to have some sort of a festival that relates to the arts. And that's something that we're going to try to fit into our schedule. And again, all these things are being discussed by the board that's planning the celebration. We want to give a shout out to folks out there that might be interested in being part of the celebration. Volunteers, I think we're as good as the volunteers we surround ourselves with. So make sure, folks, that you find a way to get in touch with us.
Yes.
We're going to be doing this show once a month. So we're going to have guests come in and talk about the celebration, talk about how the events are being planned and what you can expect. And it should be kind of a fun year for the town of Easton, Massachusetts. And I know that fundraising is a must. We certainly have to pay the bills. So we're looking for donations. We got an active fundraising committee that's putting together a scale that we'll be using. We're looking for sponsors for many of the events that take place. And we'll keep you posted as we meet on a monthly basis. Some final comments that you'd like to make, Michelle?
Well, today I have with me the program from the 250th back in 1975. So one of the things that we plan on doing, Dave, right, is an anniversary book similar to this one. So that's something that we're looking forward to. It will be somewhat of a yearbook that kind of catalogs the events that happened in 2025. So it'll probably be something that you will see in 2026. And we hope that everyone finds their own photo somewhere in that book, but that means they have to actually come to some of these events.
Michelle and I are hoping with our committee that we can involve Stonehill College, Borderland State Park. We want to make sure that we look at all the resources that might be available here in the town of Easton. We had a terrific meeting with the superintendent of schools. Maybe you could share that with our viewing audience.
Absolutely. Our superintendent, Leisha Cabral, here in Easton is wonderful. She took quite a bit of time with myself and Dave and Jen Starr, who's the chair of the school committee. And we had a great discussion on how we can incorporate some educational opportunities for kids in school. We had some great conversations about how we can involve this tricentennial with sports. We also discussed how to use the schools to host some of these tricentennial events, and they are 100% on board and really excited about it. So that was a great meeting. All of our meetings have been great. We've met with David Field of the DPW. We're meeting with Justin Alexander today, our fire chief. We've also met with Kristen Kennedy from the Department of Health and Community Services. So It's been very successful. One of the other important pieces is we'll be meeting with businesses as well. We want to support local Easton business, and we want to keep everything that we do that year local. We're going to have different ways for businesses to be involved, and some of them are going to be really fun.
And we're looking forward to meeting possibly with the Chamber of Commerce to involve as many groups as we possibly can. This is a community celebration. Yes, it takes place in the year 2025, but Michelle and I know that time flies by pretty fast. Mm-hmm. Here we are in the summer of 2023, and we are in a hurry to make our final plans and to move forward with our logo, maybe possible banners in the center of town to promote the celebration. It's exciting. We have an awful lot to talk about, and we hope to continue by inviting guests once a month beginning in September. And this will be an hour-long show because we have lots of people that we want to chat with. And I know that the folks out there that are watching, put that calendar 2025 up on the wall instead of keeping it hidden until it arrives, because it'll get here sooner than you think. I guess we've come to the tail end of our show, but some final things that we'd like to suggest. I thought we had a terrific meeting with Father John over at Stony Oak College, the president of the college, and it sounds like they are opening up the door for us to participate, to use their facility, and all that has to be confirmed, of course. But when you take a look at all of the historic buildings here in the town of Easton, you can see that there's lots of history. So we hope to involve the Historical Society. We hope to involve the students in the schools. We hope to involve the senior adults. We hope to open up the door for people that have disabilities so that they can participate in all the events that we have. And of course, we got a pretty heavy schedule ahead of us as we plan and prepare. And it's nice to see that we now have coordinators for a lot of those individual events that we plan and prepare. A big thank you and a shout out goes to Adam at ECAT for being our producer for this show. And something you'd like to say to our listening audience?
I think I would like to say that if any of this interested you whatsoever, you should reach out to us at easton300@outlook.com. Again, our website is www.easton300.org. And I would say that if you're a member of a board or a committee or a group or a church here in town, and you have an idea that you would, for a way that you'd like to participate in the tricentennial celebration, reach out to us. We're more than happy to work with you, help you, support you, get you on the event calendar. Perhaps it's something you already do and you want to put a tricentennial twist to it, or perhaps it's something new that you want to either begin or just do one time in 2025. So if you're a member of a club or a group or an organization, please reach out. We want to work with all businesses, all groups, even neighborhoods. So if you want to put together a neighborhood block party, we would be happy to work with you.
You took the words out of my mouth, Michelle. I was going to say that we would like to encourage some block parties during that year, 2025, when the weather cooperates, bringing people together in local neighborhoods. There are some folks out there, believe it or not, aren't sure who their neighbors are. We'd like to have you get together with them and enjoy the opportunity to be residents here in the town of Easton, Massachusetts. Well, that's going to wrap it up for today's show. I'm Dave Clifton on behalf of Michelle McGee, bidding you farewell from our studios here in Easton. We say to each and every one of you, stay tuned for our monthly show called Easton 300. Yes, we got a lot to talk about. We have over 300 ideas that we'd like to be able to share with the Easton community. This cablecast has been a production of Easton Community Access Television. We thank them so much for their communication to the Easton community. So long. On behalf of Michelle and myself, thank you for joining us.
Thanks.